found the Laid Off Lads podcast, where three average guys from Central Florida discuss anything but average topics and have all the time to do it.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Laid Off Lads podcast, episode 15 of this endeavor. As always, I have on the line with me, Chris Boyce and Phil Ngari, and I am Michael Ferris. Thank you for tuning in this week. So if you take 15 episodes and you divide it by 3, that's how many times we're going to change the first segment of our pod, as we kind of alluded to it in episode 14 and the post that we had about it. But we are now the first segment is basically going to be an opening tangent. We just figured that covers the realm of things that go on in the last week, or things that are hitting our buttons, or hot topics, or news, or anything that we saw, or just anything that's on our minds that we're just going to just fire away and just start talking about. And then we'll get into the topic of the week, which we have an interesting one today. So
Did you guys see the moon last night?
It was cool. It was bright.
I was saying earlier, I was up between like 2 o'clock, 4:30 in the morning because I couldn't sleep. And I walk out to my living room, like, why is there a floodlight on in the backyard? Mm-hmm. It was unbelievably bright. I haven't seen a moon that bright in, I don't even know when. It lit up everything.
How come like every week you see on the news, it's like, this is going to be passing by and you won't see this for another 450 years. Like every single week there's something. Well, I know there's a lot of things out there, but I know you told me to go outside and take a picture of it. I didn't.
Wasn't there a didn't SpaceX maybe? Yeah, didn't somebody launch something off last week?
Yeah. Those pictures.
Oh,
those
beautiful.
Pictures were stunning.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever driven over to the coast, as we live in Central Florida, and actually seen a launch?
No.
Because I haven't either, and I'm like, Phil,
I have. It's a big event. Like,
yeah,
it's a big event, especially for like tourists. I mean, again, that's something that we take for granted living in Florida, especially like Central Florida, is we get to see that even from Orlando, seeing a launch. But a lot of tourists come here just to see launches, and they got people lined up by the river, like the ocean, just to go see it. And people are out there in lawn chairs, just drinking, having a good time, and just wait. They do the countdown. So it's a big event over there.
It's embarrassing that I haven't been.
Yeah, exactly.
Some odd years in this state.
You boys want to go?
Junkie. We should do
the next one.
Yeah. Let's do the next one. But is there like a website like launchdates.com that tell you all of the upcoming dates, and you can plan in advance, and there's a NASA watch party? Yeah, but this wasn't NASA. This was SpaceX.
Yeah, but they all launched.
They work with. Okay.
Yeah, they launched from NASA.
Still from the space station until Elon Musk decides to build his own anything. I don't know. I wouldn't. He built a Death Star.
Awesome.
He was in an interview this week where he talked about all the deaths that'll happen. He's like, yeah, we're going to get to Mars. I think 2026 is their target goal, to have a person on Mars.
Oh, I saw
and
that.
He's like, yeah, there's a lot of people who are going to die, and it's not going to be comfortable at all. The food's going to suck. It's a 6-month journey, but hey,
that's being honest about it up front.
Yeah. When you think of how many lives were lost in the NASA program to go to the moon, it comes with the territory.
Isn't he the one funding the first flight to Mars? The first like space flight with that like commercial, I
think so.
Yeah, as far as I know, he's the only person involved in any human Mars transit operations, sending people there. I don't know if NASA's working on that. They're just sending probes and rovers and junk.
That dude has changed the world.
Because he owns Tesla and SpaceX?
He's got the whole solar farm thing. He's got SpaceX. He's got Tesla. His hands is in a lot of crazy stuff, man. I don't know how he sleeps.
There's probably a lot of very smart people under him as well.
He's probably cloned himself.
He's very smart as well, but
if there's ever a clone to be made, it's going to be made of him. He's already figured out a way.
Oh, 100%.
And he's profiting off of his tweets, Bitcoin tweets. He bought a ton of Bitcoin. Tesla bought a bunch of Bitcoin. He sends a tweet pumping Bitcoin, and then his company sells it for a $300 million profit. That's brilliant. It just takes a couple words from him to send the economy going through the roof.
So,
That's
all right,
power.
All right. So you guys have tried to explain this to me. Maybe you can explain this to everybody out there. Bitcoin. How is it so lucrative, and how is it used? Why is what is the whole why? Like to the layman person in this industry, I'll consider myself that. There's a dollar bill, there's pennies, there's quarters, there's the American currency, there's the euro, there's those things that we know. But is Bitcoin this it's a gamer point, so you get points for this, and that's what you can trade it in? Like, what is Bitcoin?
It's a decentralized currency, so there's nobody's tied to it. If you want to send, and the common comparison they use is somebody in America wants to send money to their family in the Philippines. You've got to send that money from a bank, and the bank's already making profits from you and costs from you, all sorts of crazy ways. You want to send that to them, you got to do a wire transfer that takes X amount of days, and there's a fee involved in that. And it's got to go through X, Y, and Z to get to this person. And there's a huge cost involved with all these middlemen, whereas decentralized currency is a straight shot. There's rarely any fees or costs involved. There's no middlemen. And it's complicated to explain from the standpoint of how these blockchains work. But there's basically hundreds of thousands of computers all throughout the world that validate these transactions. And every transaction is unique to itself. So, oh boy, that's really hard to explain.
How can
in layman's terms?
I can go to a store and pay via Apple Pay or put in my card and pay, but I can't go, here's my Bitcoin pay.
You can.
At some stores, but not. I mean, it's getting more. Yeah, I've seen it more prevalent now, but
it's just another currency. But it's just crypto. It's not tied to anything.
Who thought of it? Where did it come from?
That's the big mystery. Satoshi Nakamoto is the person, and that's almost like I want to say a pen name, like Mark Twain wasn't really Mark Twain. Nobody knows who this person is, but Satoshi Nakamoto is the inventor. It could be anybody in the world. Nobody knows who it is. Nobody knows how it came up with it. It's the great mystery behind the person. Nobody knows who invented it.
Was probably Banksy.
Who?
The elusive street artist that paints things everywhere and just is this unmasked, not unmasked, but masked, unnamed person.
Yeah, that's weird. It's a crazy little mystery, but it's totally secure. Mm-hmm. It's global,
and the government
How is it
hasn't
totally
regulated
secure?
it yet.
It goes into the whole. There are people who validate each transaction, and this is where it gets really complicated. I don't even know if I can begin to explain it.
Which people?
There are people out there, computers that are all linked to this system. So it's not like if one computer crashes, the system crashes. There's a system of checks and balances that is spread throughout thousands and thousands of computers across the world that validate every transaction.
Skynet.
Yeah, Skynet. So it can't crash. It won't crash. It's total anonymity.
It's computers. Of course it can crash. Somebody can go there and just unplug it, and then boom, no more.
No, there's no one central computer.
Exchange.
They're all tied to so many different computers that aren't connected that it's.
But somebody has to set this up
for it. And so there's a limited quantity.
Crypto engineers that set this stuff up in rooms like
that. I don't know. There's mining. There's all sorts of crazy stuff that goes with it.
What are you mining for? It's an invisible thing. It's not like it's a rock that we're now sending back and forth.
It goes super in depth.
Yeah, these are the people who validate all these transactions. And so when you mine and you're part of the process, you're paid in little bits of crypto, which is called a Satoshi. So like 0.0000, however many 01 Bitcoin is called a Satoshi.
Mm-hmm. And they have people that have like thousands of computers constantly mining for this crypto.
There are companies that have
sounds like Pokemon Go decided that they wanted to start their own
And there's a limited
currency.
quantity. There's a finite quantity of Bitcoin to where
But
once
you're
it's all
saying these
mined, it's
computers
done.
are mining this. So how is there a finite quality?
There's a finite quantity.
Doesn't make any sense to me.
Okay, moving on.
Yeah, you gotta
It
Google that stuff or YouTube it. It's in depth.
So my next random
I can't
topic for
tell.
you guys, because we're just going to move on from this, because it's too complicated for any of us to understand. All I know is I put my money in it and I make money off of it.
It just
Yep.
seems like a big scam. I don't know.
I put money in, wait for it to go up, sell it, wait for it to drop, and repeat the cycle.
Correct.
Paycheck.
Now, my next random topic for you, just as you are granting, if there was a chance that you could be immortal, would you take it?
Hell no.
No, I don't think so either.
You wouldn't want to
Mortal.
live forever.
No, because eventually all this is gonna end, and you're gonna be left. Then what happens? Are you gonna be like
It's
from
enticing.
Superman, where you're in the little thing and you're just floating through space?
Yeah, but okay, so time out. Let's backtrack. If there was a chance for you to know everything about everything, would you want to?
Like Back to the Future, know everything. Like
No,
I could make
like everything.
millions on.
Like if a
sports
higher being
betting.
came in and was like, I'm going to implant this and you're going to know everything about everything and how everything works. And
Would I know who killed Kennedy?
yeah, you would know everything.
Oh boy,
Mhm.
that'd be
Or
a lot
you-
of process.
I feel like next week
Stonehenge.
we should talk about what would you do if you could play God for 1 year?
Oh, that gets too.
I have a list of questions. I started mentally compiling a list of questions to where if I go to heaven and God says, "Hey, what do you want to know?" To where I've got a list of mental questions that I'd ask, like the
What?
Kennedy assassination.
Okay,
And,
is that number one on your list?
there was a bunch of them. I should write it down. But I think everybody has those questions that they ponder to say, what really happened here? What's really going on here?
What is Bitcoin?
What is Bitcoin? I wouldn't want to know everything. That's too much to process.
And then God just looks and goes, "You've been fucking duped. It's all made up." Oh,
It's a simulation.
Interesting.
I don't know. I don't think I would want to be immortal. I would want to know certain things.
I just think about things
Kennedy
like that all
was
the
a good
time.
one.
Kennedy is a good one. But do you ever also think, you've seen the movie The Truman Show starring
Yeah.
Jim Carrey.
Yeah,
Do
yeah,
you ever
that's
think that
good.
you're part of it?
No.
Not
No,
really.
because we have something called free will. It's not like dictated or pushed by, at least we don't think so anyways. But we have the choice to make whatever we want to do right now. Like if I wanted to run down the street butt ass naked, there's no entity or other force or being that's forcing me to go down that path. We have the free will to do whatever it is we want.
There are countless times in any given week where I just say, man, if the world's going to end, let's just get this over with. So I'm the opposite of wanting to be immortal. Like there's times where I'm just like, can we just end this already? All the time.
Madness.
All the time.
That took a morbid turn
Yeah,
again. Boyce.
Jesus,
God.
boys.
All the time.
Go back to
Take-
talking
take-
about some
take the blue pill, dude.
imaginary currency.
Yeah.
Take your blue pill, take a nap.
Let's talk about ranch dressing for a second.
Ranch. Okay, what? Well, hold on. What about
So,
ranch dressing?
Put it on
we
anything.
had pizza on Friday, and my
Yes.
son
That
dips
sounds
his
good.
pizza in ranch dressing.
Good lad.
When he has spaghetti, he's not a tomato sauce kid, which I wasn't when I was growing up. I just put butter on the spaghetti and just ate it that way. But he puts ranch in his spaghetti. And my stepson does it too. So there's this huge ranch thing now. I know there are these stupid challenges where people are chugging ranch, but what's the fascination with ranch? I'm not
I
a
would
ranch
say
guy.
that's a your bloodline thing, dude. I would nowhere in hell would I put ranch in pasta.
No, that's weird. Pizza
Yeah.
dipping the crust in it. It's fantastic.
Yes, agree.
I know people dip the pizza in the ranch.
It's not. It's not.
That's a sin.
Mm,
I agree.
depends. I want to say I've done it, but I don't do it. Like I've tried it, I've had it, but I don't like go out of my way to do it now. I eat the pizza and then I dip the crust into whatever sauce. Like sometimes like there's a buffalo ranch version. There's all sorts of fun stuff. I'm
I
a
don't want
sauce
to be
guy.
immortal.
Say
I
what?
could eat pizza every day for the rest of my life.
100%.
That's That is true.
Why is that the case? Why does most people love and like pizza's so big? Why is that like everybody's pretty much the unanimous favorite of you
Bread
can
and
eat
cheese,
that
man.
every day?
Everybody loves bread and cheese.
It's true.
Yeah, but you have a little bit of everything. You have like your bread, your vegetables you can put on it. You got that sweetness of the sauce, the saltiness in it, and it's just I love pizza.
Guys like Hawaiian pizza, pineapple and ham.
Yeah.
That's typically a contentious.
It is. Pineapple on your pizza. Yeah, I'm fine with it.
I like
Like
it.
why? There's no like law that says you have to have pepperoni and it has to be cheese and it only has to be meat or it has to be the toppings that we know. No. Put
I'll eat
pineapple
it.
on
I
if
mean,
you want it.
pizza's pizza to me. I'm a very big pizza critic, and you know the guy on Barstool.
One bite.
God, I would kill to have his job.
My
That is
brother and I
that's
watch.
a
I've
dream
watched every
job of mine.
episode, dude. Every
What,
episode.
what does he do? He just goes around and eats.
You
Just
rate
goes into a
pizzas.
mom and pop shop. Yeah, just goes in, takes out a pizza, reviews.
I want that for beer.
Hmm.
I want to
They have
do
that.
like a diner, drive-in, and dives for beer.
That's difficult
Craft
only because with
Captain
pizza,
drunk
you
or
can
something, I
rate.
don't
This guy rates just cheese pizza, so there's a consistency in everything he's rating.
Right.
It's a cheese pizza, but
most
beer.
but most breweries have like their core styles, right? So you rate
Yeah.
just lagers or just IPAs or whatever.
That's hard. I think there's too many varieties of IPAs and different hops that they put in there. Like
Yeah,
you have
no,
to have a
yeah.
base of consistency to say
Yeah, but you can change your cheese,
true.
change your sauce. It's all changed as is. Still a cheese.
Yeah, but everyone has like their own uniqueness. There's so many different types of cheeses out there. Like, have you ever been to like a cheese tasting? Or go even
Done
just go
one
to
or two,
Publix. Just go to Publix and go to the cheese aisle, and you can see how many different styles, varieties, age, like all of these cheeses are.
Oh, there's some
I
good ones.
love cheese.
I
Are
like
those like
sharp
the
cheese?
charcuterie boards, or how do you say that?
That's one of my favorite words, charcuterie.
Charcuterie. Who
Charcuterie
thought of
boards.
that? That's a great term.
I love it.
Do you have a favorite word?
Ooh.
I have a favorite word, and I would name my child this. I would name my dog
like
this. Like, and surprisingly, it is a pasta, or labeled as a pasta.
Is it? What's your favorite?
Charcuterie is
One
one
of
of
my-
my favorites right now.
What is it?
Charcuterie.
Charcuterie.
I just like the sound of it. The board of cheese and meats and stuff. I'll just text my brother randomly at random given times, charcuterie, because I just think the word's funny.
That's a great word.
I have a word that I hate written down on a piece of paper in front of me. I'll get to
What?
that after.
What?
Scratch
Words
my
that
name
you
out.
hate.
Scratch my
words
name
that
off
you
that piece of
hate.
paper.
Plethora.
Oh, I love that
I
word.
hate that word.
Why do
To
you hate
me,
that
that's
word?
like a word that you learn in like 4th or 5th grade, and it sounds like, oh, it's a fancy word,
It
so I'm going to
is.
use it.
It's
But
great.
it sounds like your tongue is having a stroke in mid-word. Plethora. Like everything's just like vomits falling out of your mouth, and your tongue just gave up in mid-word.
I love it.
Hate plethora.
I don't mind
There-
it.
No,
It's
I
not
don't mind
bad.
it either.
There's a
There are
plethora.
words-
It's an ugly sounding word.
There are words that I say around the house that I will like laugh at or like crack myself up because I love the words, but I can't think of any right now in this particular moment. What is your favorite word though, Phil? It's a pasta?
It's a type of pasta, labeled as a
Penne?
pasta. It's
Penne?
not penne. No,
Linguine?
not linguine, not rigatoni. It is
Elbow?
gnocchi.
Gnocchi?
Gnocchi.
That's a good one. Okay.
Tell me like that. Just
That's a good one.
that is just the most satisfying word I love saying.
Sounds like a Mario
Gnocchi.
Brothers character.
does.
Gnocchi.
I think it might be.
That's the person that created Bitcoin.
Gnocchi.
I was just about to ask, how the hell did we get here?
Gnocchi joint.
I don't know.
And that is the opening tangent from the Laid Off Lads. You can look forward to something random as that every single week here on the Laid Off Lads podcast.
Utilize.
Eh.
Sorry, I had to text my wife real quick. Utilize is the other word I absolutely hate. Because use. Just say the word use. I wanted to. We're going to utilize. And it's another one of those words where like I'm trying to sound professional and fancy, but you could just say the word use like a fucking normal human.
Well, you can use it in a different context.
Go ahead. Tell me a word. You utilize is better than using the word use. and
It's
you
a
just
lot
not trying
more
to sound
professional.
fancy. It's
That's the
ridiculous.
thing. It doesn't matter. You use a lot of words in every day to sound a bit more mature, a bit more fancy.
True.
But that's when you use it trying to be professional. It's obviously you're trying to be professional. Be human. Talk like a normal person instead of trying to use words that are unnecessary to make yourself try to sound like you're at a level or doing something that's.
See,
not.
but that would be the very word that Ferris would say on my reviews all the time. I would write at my old job. I'd bring it to Ferris's desk and be like, "Hey, can you just look it over, sign it, please, so I can administer this review?" And this motherfucker here would critique every aspect of anything. If I capitalized a word, he was like, "Don't do that." I'm like, "Well, it boosts like what that word means, and like it means I appreciate it." He's like, "No."
Capitalize an entire word. You're yelling at somebody on a page.
That's why you gave it to him. I had a red pen just for that, saying, "Hey, can you look at this review?" And I pull out my red pen, my review pen. I'm like, "All right, let's go to town." And you know,
didn't bring out the quarter. You didn't bring out your quarter, flip it, and be like, yeah, this one. Go ahead, tails. Sorry.
Decision, man.
Go ahead, redo it.
But that's Ferris's job to make sure that you're writing things the way you're supposed to write them.
Was my job.
Sorry.
Yes, I got laid off from that. So it wasn't my job. Reviewing reviews, too bad.
Think of that. Now we're just drinking beer.
Yep.
Here you go.
Here we go. Sláinte. I'm having a Sasquatch one from Rock Pit. It's called Wild Savage.
I'm having one called.
What did you call that?
Atticus
Wild
Atlas.
or Wilder Savage.
What's on the
It's a New
can?
England IPA. It's a Sasquatch.
That's not how you say it.
Well, that's a fun word. How do you say Sasquatch?
Sasquatch.
Sasquatch.
TCH. It's not a
Sasquatch.
squash. It's not grown. It's not a vegetable.
Squatch.
You don't know that. It could have grown from a vegetable.
I still have that picture of when I made you Sasquatch.
What?
You don't remember the time I made you Sasquatch?
No.
I made you Sasquatch. I don't know if I still have it
on the interwebs at some point. But again, that was the opening tangent. That's what you can expect. Moving on to our only segment that hasn't changed in 15 episodes.
Utilize.
What's the
utilize
topic?
the word plethora more often?
I love it.
Okay, sorry.
Do we have a what's the topic for this week?
Yes.
I
did think of something.
What is it?
If I know that we had talked about stealing things and looting Target, and I just watched a documentary of the all those paintings that were stolen from the museum
in Boston, right? That's the one I was telling you about.
Yes. So
let me look at the name from it.
Yeah, I'm not sure the name, but if you boys could steal anything in the
Isabella
entire
Stewart Gardner Museum.
Yes, that one. Thank you. If you could steal anything in the entire world that would fit in your house right now, you could steal anything. Doesn't matter how you get it. If you could steal it, fully knowing you would not get caught, what would you steal? And what would you put it in your house?
It's got to stay in the house.
You got to stay in the house. Like obviously,
Can't be for like like you can't get it in the house for like a month and then resell it on the black.
You can do whatever the hell you want with it. You stole it. It's yours.
On my backyard.
You can put it in your backyard as long as it's not the Giza pyramids. You can't steal the Giza pyramids or anything. It has to be
like a yacht in my backyard.
The hell would you steal a yacht? That's somebody's hard-earned.
I'm sure Elon Musk has one hell of a yacht. You would probably want to steal his yacht. I think it has to fit physically in the confines of your house. Now, how big ever your house is going to be determined. Most houses you can't fit a yacht in any room of the house. So I think that throws that out the proverbial window.
Well, you got to have something in mind, Phil.
For me?
Yeah, you came up with the question.
Gnocchi pasta.
Gnocchi.
I'm stocked up on gnocchi.
Italy.
I love gnocchi. I wouldn't necessarily go the painting route. I have a painting on my wall that was actually like leaned up against the dumpster, and it was like perfectly clean, like by my place. And
it is a nice one.
It is a nice one, right? And has like a nice frame, and it has a name of it on the back. And I looked it up, and it's actually quite valuable. I'm like, who the hell would throw this out? That's off topic, but I think that I would steal, because I have a love for soccer so much. I think I would steal one of the trophies for the Ballon d'Or.
The Ballon d'Or?
But yes. I think that I would steal that and have that in my house.
Ballon d'Or sounds like a fancy chocolate. Ballon d'Or truffle.
Well, I could cast it in chocolate because it would be mine, and to cast in chocolate.
See, now that you said, I don't want to.
I would like.
The Stanley Cup would be cool.
That's where I was going to go. That's where I was
Stanley Cup
going to go.
would be
As soon as
cool
you
to
said that, I'm
steal.
like, man, the cup in my living room would be so
beers
badass.
out of the Stanley Cup every day would be great.
Oh.
To see like the little lightning on there twice would be great. I would actually steal. Screw that. I just gave everybody the bird. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. But did you see the Stanley Cup rings for the Tampa Bay Lightning?
I read the little highlight that came up on my phone saying like 127 diamonds or some ridiculous number
and
of.
Has like, oh, it's insane. It has all of these specifics. It has like on the inside of the ring the scores, or not the scores, but the series for everybody that they played. So they beat Columbus 4-0 and this, that, and the other. It has what's the Lightning's tag? Be the fan or whatever, but it's the COVID way of saying that. I'd have to look it up, but that thing is badass.
It's crazy how much they fit on these rings. Year after year, they get bigger and bigger. Like I read, maybe it was the Lightning one, but there was another team that I think it was the Dodgers that got their rings recently, and they had said something about 500 something diamonds on this thing. I'm like, how do you fit so many diamonds? Why not just one big diamond? Would you rather have 500 tiny diamonds?
It's so like it
takes away from the design of it.
79 diamonds, 27 custom cut sapphires, 30 custom cut sapphires make up the iconic bolt logo, 146 pave set diamonds to complete the ring top, the Stanley Cup logo, location of the NHL's global series where they won both games and came together as a team, which is in Stockholm, one black diamond to represent a hockey puck.
That's cool.
Distant Thunder, that's what it is. It'd be the Thunder, but Distant Thunder was the tribute to the 2020 as players couldn't be there. It has the overtime minutes played during the entire playoffs.
That's obnoxious.
Player's name permanently on it.
That's a lot.
Jersey numbers. I love it.
This is all on a ring?
The results of the playoff round for each, like, it's awesome. This is their ring. It's insane.
How do you fit all of that on a ring
can't.
and make
It's
it
weird.
look stylish?
I don't know. I'm scrolling through it now, and if you're seeing this on well, no, I just went to damn it.
Old man.
Yeah. All right. So I'm trying to do this. You see, there's the ring there.
It's pretty.
That's nice. That's cool.
It's really cool.
Yeah, that's nice. See, even though you said all of that, it doesn't look like as much information.
Correct, but they pointed out on every aspect of the ring, and you're like, they do fit a lot of stuff that you don't think about on a normal ring. Thing's crazy.
When I
might steal that from my house. Probably the Stanley Cup would be cool. That might be my.
I could imagine just you invite me over and you're just sitting there in like a king chair with a Stanley Cup, just sipping a beer out.
100%. Because once you have the Stanley Cup in your home, you then build around the Stanley Cup. You then get an obnoxious like king chair, like a Game of Thrones chair, and that's how you now sit and watch Friends at night. Is in this obnoxious chair with this obnoxious chalice of a Stanley Cup.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to copy anybody else's answer, but as soon as you said trophy, Phil, I'm like, my brain just went Stanley Cup. My brother and I keep talking about going up to Toronto to see it in the Hockey Hall of Fame. I've never seen the cup physically.
For $3,000, you can sleep with it in the arena or whatever it was. I am really tempted to take $5,000 of my severance and go and spend a night in this Airbnb.
What would you do with it? Can you leave with it?
It just seems like a pointless $5,000, not like pointless, but like you sleep next to it and you can. I don't know. I don't know. That's why we want to
file the cup.
It's like an inanimate hooker.
Yeah.
$5,000 to sleep.
Curious to know what the rules are. Like you can't take it out of the room.
I don't know. I'm
For
sure
$5,000, you've got to be able to have some sort of leeway with it. Only
hands can be rubbed on it.
There's the cup guy. the guy, the blonde-haired guy with the gloves.
Yeah. He's been doing it for years. Yeah, years.
The handler of the cup. What kind of? That's a gig.
How much do you think he gets paid?
How did you get that job? Like, did you have to apply for it? Did somebody say, "Hey, man, you want to watch over this cup?" Yeah, sure. And then now you're the guy.
Put 2 eggs in each hand and walk around with them for a week without dropping them.
That's your training.
You're hired.
Be one with the cup. I was thinking the Mona Lisa would be cool to have, but I would spend useless amount of hours walking all around that thing, just seeing if she continues to stare at me.
That would trip you out, especially if you drink. You're just gonna
4 hours spent just walking around that, being like, "Bitch, you staring at me? What the? You staring at me?"
I'm not a big art fan.
No, I'm not either.
You can get a print, a replica of it, and it still looks the same.
Yeah, I agree. But when I did go to Italy, like you really take appreciation in like the original art that is there. Even like the statue of David, saw that was badass.
It was interesting you couldn't take flash photography when you saw that.
The statue of David?
Yeah.
So apparently, I guess if you
anyway.
Energy or whatnot gives off every phone
Incriminating again, boys.
Can mess up the quality of the actual material in either the paintings or the sculptures. If there's too much of it, it can deteriorate it.
Weak.
Yeah. Harry Potter's wand. Like, I'm sure he used several in the entire films, but his primary wand.
You know, there's not real magic that comes out of it.
I understand that, but it would just be cool to have.
You can get a replica
at
Universal Orlando Resort.
I don't exactly have one. I have the Elder Wand.
I have 2 of them, and I use them as drumsticks on my drum.
God, you're an asshole.
Okay, that stuff.
There is so much stuff that I would probably want to steal to put in my house. Like like Michael Jordan's first pair of shoes in the NBA.
What are you
going to do with them?
No clue.
Chuck them
Maybe
in the
go out
closet?
back and play basketball with them. I don't know.
Which, are you a fan? Sorry, just stealing Michael Jordan's shoes. Are you a fan of the new Space Jam? The concept that they had to remake Space Jam with some douche magoo named LeBron James.
I know that's reason enough there to not watch it. LeBron James is a piece of shit.
Okay, boys. Let's open the floor to that one.
I 100% agree.
He's a piece of shit.
Even with all the controversial shit going on, I thought he was a big baby bitch prior to. I'm not a fan of him.
Wow.
Yeah.
A lot
Egos,
of hatred
man.
over here. Why? What has he ever done to you?
There's some people where you just look at and you're like, you're a scumbag for what they stand for, stand
How do you
against.
say
Like,
he
just
is?
It's just
You
the
don't-
pompous egos, man.
That's like every athlete on the face of the planet.
no.
Basketball in
not.
particular, though. Basketball is filled with egos. That's the only sport where you can say, you know what, I don't play this team anymore, even though I signed a 5-year contract for $100 million a year prior. This year, I'm not feeling it. So I'm just going to sit out and be a whining little bitch until somebody eventually trades me. That's the only sport where you can do that.
Did you feel this way prior to or after his decision?
What, the Heat decision? Well, like, I'm sorry, if you hold a press conference or some big event to announce where you're going, like,
it wasn't even a press conference.
High
He
school
took it a step
athletes do it all the
further.
time. High school athletes do it every fucking year. Which hat are you going to choose?
that's a big deal for them, though. That's a
It's a big
recruit
deal for him
coming
to
out.
move.
No,
Like,
no,
I
no,
would agree with how he went about that.
He is already famous. Cool. You do your thing,
Right.
bro. You want to announce it? Awesome. Congrats.
But
You don't need to hold like a big event just
I
to
agree
say,
with you.
"Oh, I'm going
I
here."
agree at the Boys and
I
Girls
could
Club
give
of New
2
Hampshire State College or wherever the it was. I agree with you. But you have to think he's also was what, 20 some years old, and he probably looks back on that and goes, I would have done it differently. And sure enough,
I would have
did.
added. I would have
but he
added
has-
pyro.
No, he has grown-up PR people to let the
At
20-year-old
that
brain know
no.
that this is probably a
Doesn't
stupid
he
idea.
run his own PR company, or his friends with
Got to
him
be
do?
somebody who runs that. I don't know.
Isn't he a part owner in Liverpool?
Yes, that's
Oh, okay. And you don't think he's a scumbag?
No, I don't think he's a scumbag. I have plenty of Liverpool fans that I don't think are scumbags that I'm friends with. Just because he's a Liverpool fan, he's not Skirtle. Like he's not a Martin Skirtle.
I bet you he shook Skirtle's hand with no problem and said, "I love you." I bet you that happened.
I hope not.
It's like
No,
the
I don't think
Oscars and
I
the
don't really
Emmys
have a
and all that
problem
shit.
with him. It's what?
It's like the Oscars and the Emmys. Like, you're famous. You go to concerts, you perform concerts day in and day out with thousands and thousands of people adoring you. You got fans cheering for you, but that's not enough. Now I need an awards ceremony once a year to tell me that I'm even.
It's not. They don't
I
like
hate it.
somebody. The Actors Guild, the Oscar Guild. They wanted this, not them. Like they have to show up if they're
They participate.
That's
They
why I
put on
love
their
this
fancy
last
Yes,
clothes.
but
one.
what are they gonna do? Boycott it? No, I don't want to win an award that's top of the top award in my field. Come on,
The
like
box
that's like the
office
Stanley
earnings.
Cup to them.
That's
That's a
tells you
Stanley
what's up.
Cup to them, though.
That's what
That they also show
Not
up.
horse.
This dress was made of the
No,
bodies of.
It's
of-
just
a part of
feeding
it, yeah.
egos.
Like-
It's feeding egos that you're already a movie star. Everywhere you go, people are just screaming for you. But now I need an award to tell me that I'm
It's the top
continuing
award in
to
their
feed my
industry.
ego.
It's like the Stanley Cup, or it's like the Lombardi. It's like that is you can say that I'm a 2-time Oscar winner, like Tom Brady, the 7-time Super Bowl Lombardi winner. It's the top.
But that's
of
the
your
point of the
field.
sport. The point of the sport is the end goal. But you
I mean-
will never see Anchorman on the Oscar.
No, the point.
There's
The
so
point of
many
this.
good genres
point-
of movies that aren't even included just because it's like, well,
Correct.
that's
But
funny.
that's
So
right. There's some pretentious people out there that here's the artwork and the filming of it and this,
Yeah,
that,
it's
and the
all
other. That's fine,
pretentious
but
as
that's,
shit.
but that's whatever. Like, so don't watch it. I don't watch it. I don't give two shits about it.
Yeah,
But,
I could appreciate like people getting
Yeah.
awards and stuff, but
That's
I
not-
agree with Boyce also. Like it feeds egos and makes people's
Every
heads
award
bigger,
does.
and I
It's
don't
all
agree with the
subjective, too.
monetary about it.
there's agendas behind who wins everything as well.
Oh, well,
That's
it's
just the
political
industry.
as shit.
And that invalidates it. So you're not really going for what's the best. You're going for what looks like and feels like it should be the best based off the current climate of the world, which
Especially-
invalidates it all, makes it all
Mhm.
horse.
You could even say that because of Leonardo DiCaprio not winning as much as he probably should, because that
Yeah.
dude is probably hands down the best actor that I
talented.
have ever seen, from like a teenager all the way to now. Like that dude does not make a bad movie.
Him
Tom
and
Hanks.
Brad
Right,
Pitt. Tom Hanks is up there.
De Niro used to be
Denzel.
up there until he started making shit movies to the tail end of his career.
Me,
It's like Ice Cube.
was funny
You know,
though.
if
Or Fokker or
Ice
whatever.
Ice Cube of the 2000s went back to Ice Cube of the 80s and 90s, 80s and 90s Ice Cube would have beat the out of current day Ice Cube
Yeah,
for some of the movies he's done.
They also have to play the role in what their age now supports. I was thinking the other
Ice
day
Cube
too.
doesn't age, dude.
No, he
That-
really looks the exact same. As he
Ice
did.
T looks
Yeah,
the
that's true.
same. Like black folks don't age.
Snoop, same.
Yeah.
Is
It looks
there a,
great.
is there a
Snoop
movie
looks
out
the exact
there?
same.
Is there a movie out there where you are begging or dying for a sequel to happen? For me, it'd be The Waterboy.
What?
I want a sequel to The
You're an
Waterboy.
Or he's in the pros now?
I don't know. I
Or
don't
was
know.
he in the pros?
That movie
I
was
haven't
on the
really
other
thought
day.
too
I
much
was
about
watching.
it.
I'm like,
Yeah,
God, I
haven't.
miss this movie. Or a Happy Gilmore too, like something like that. I love Adam Sandler movies, and they had a
can't
marathon
stand
on
it.
the other day.
I love the fact that he brings his buddies into the movies. Those two guys, always the same two guys who are just actors, and he puts in the dumbest
Rob
roles.
Schneider and
Rob Schneider sucks, but there's two other guys who
Rob
are just
Schneider
no
made more
names,
money today than you've made in your entire lifetime.
and it's a shame.
you
Him and
probably
David
did it via
Spade.
Bitcoin.
David Spade.
Oh, and David Spade, I'm not a big fan of.
Do you
Rob
not like
Schneider's better than
David
David Spade. No.
Spade? Tommy Boy.
Only in Tommy Boy. Tommy Boy.
Tommy Boy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true.
Black Sheep. Him and
Yeah.
Farley had something.
They
They
did.
work
Yes,
good together.
absolutely. I
They
miss
have-
Farley. That dude was a talent.
Where?
But there's
how-
no movie
how
where
did
you
he-
think that you would want a sequel.
All the really good ones have had sequels, I think. And they just go downhill, which sucks.
one and done. Like, what's been a one and done one that you do wish that? Like, training day? Like, do you want to find out what happens?
Ooh, Inception. Inception would be another one.
That's a mind.
That was a mind.
That's a good one though.
Again, Leonardo.
Tenet.
Miracle.
The Departed. Everybody died.
Everybody died.
Spoiler.
Spoiler. Everybody died. How do we... hold on. All right. Back to what's the topic.
Sorry. I had so many topics just pop in my head randomly.
Almighty. So Boyce would steal the Stanley Cup.
Yep.
Phil would steal a Ballon d'Or. Well, the Stanley Cup was my idea. Thanks.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a tough. Like, I'm sure there's random stuff that you like see and you're like, oh man, that would be cool as hell to have in your home. Like, what are like? Can't think of anything off the top of my head that would be just like, damn.
That Jameson chandelier.
Cool.
Which I can just turn my Christmas tree upside down. It'll be
Done. Just like super glue them down to the things. You're good to go.
done.
I'd have all the balloons from the movie Up.
That movie was on the other day too when I watched it, man.
It's a good one.
I got sucked into it. I love that movie. It's so emotional.
Yeah.
Hate those types of movies.
I had those weird moments where it's just like, you see those commercials or about, kids who are in school and all of a sudden their dad sneaks up on them from the military who hasn't seen in years.
Tears.
And yeah,
Tears.
I get missy out of
can't
that
help
stuff,
it.
dude.
Just flowing. I can't do that. There's nothing more than like a child's face when just so innocent, have no clue, and they turn around and they see their dad who's been overseas for years they haven't seen, and you're just like, oh my god, I'm so happy.
Which we need to discuss. What's our sensitive sides?
Yeah, what's the most like sensitive? Shall we leave that on the table for next week's topic?
Next week.
What's the most sensitive sides of you? The most unusual sides of you that you're like, oh well.
Uncomfortably sensitive.
Uncomfortably sensitive. Yeah.
Whether they make you uncomfortable or others.
Yeah, true. Right. So that'll be our topic next week.
Okay.
That'll be our topic next week. Thank you all for tuning in once again to the Laid Off Lads podcast. This has been episode 15 with Boyce, Phil, and Ferris. Thank you for all of your likes, comments, shares. You can reach us. You can reach out to us on Instagram, Facebook, layitofflads.com. Thank you. And I'm missing something. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcast, and you can watch us, our lovely faces, on the YouTube. Boys, got anything else?
We should have a poll.
Oh, Lord.
To see if the people know who the big screen will be on YouTube each week. We don't know.
True. We don't know.
We don't know.
Yeah.
It's random.
Not until I hit end or stop.
I think I've got the
We should
record.
give away prizes.
What kind of prize do we give away?
We'll think of
Bitcoin?
something.
Stanley Cup.
You get 0.001 of Bitcoin, which is called Sasquatch Wusho.
I'll just buy a coloring book and they get one picture colored by me.
That's good.
Yeah, they can get premium colored pencils or some nice crayons.
Goodbye, everybody.
Thanks for listening to the Laid Off Lads podcast. And if you're hiring, well, you know where to find us.